Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Authors, Books, and a Beverage. Mary's with us with her beverage. I have my beverage, and our guest, Jennifer, do you have a beverage?
I do not.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We'll let it go this time. Okay.
Thank you.
Next time.
Today, our guest is Jennifer Beckstrand, and we're so excited to have her, AKA Jen Spencer. I discovered something about Jennifer, and she has a degree in mathematics. Oh my gosh, that is, to me, wow. I mean,
Awesome.
anyone that has a degree in mathematics can just do anything. Because math is just something I don't do well.
Well, it got really hard there towards the end, like about the fourth year, I was like, wow, what am I doing here? But it was good.
More power to you. I just, I'm in awe over that.
Me too.
And you have 4 daughters and 2 sons.
Whoa.
And with all of that, you're an author. You write books.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. I am amazed. There's 2 things I'm interested in hearing from you. Number 1, I know you write Amish romances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to hear a little bit about your visit to the community. I understand that you did some research and even communicated to some Amish people, and I think that's highly interesting.
Yes,
And then
me too.
I want to know why you decided to write Westerns under Jen Spencer.
Okay, those are all good questions.
Okay, go for it.
Have here. So for my Amish, the first book I ever wrote was a Western historical, and I found an agent who was interested in it, and she read it, and she actually called me on the phone, and she said, I think you're really a good writer. Westerns aren't selling right now. Have you thought about writing Amish? And at that point, I hadn't even heard of Amish romances, but she said, try and write an Amish. She said, send me the first 50 pages of an Amish, and I will take a look at it. So I had a friend who had a friend who had started her own scrapbook company, and she went back to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania every month to sell scrapbook products on QVC.
Oh.
And so she knew a lot of Amish people. So the 3 of us and one other friend flew out there, and this Lisa, she introduced me to several Amish families. We had dinner, in an Amish home, and I was able to connect with one Amish woman who agreed to be my pen pal so that we could, she could read my stuff. So that was good. So I wrote this, I wrote the first 50 pages of Amish for this agent, and I sent it to her, and she called me on my birthday and said, I want to represent you. And then about 2 months later, we had a 3-book book deal. So
nice.
yeah. So
the only time you've been out there?
No. So I've been to Ohio and Indiana and Wisconsin. Wisconsin has the 4th largest Amish population in the country. So that's actually where my books are set, because so many of the Amish books were set in those other 3 states. So I thought, well, I'll do Wisconsin. So that's where most of my Amish books are set. I've got some in Colorado now too. But anyway, so that's how it started. And so, yes, I've done a lot of research. And I remember when I was in Pennsylvania that very first time, I took copious notes, and the Amish woman who I ended up being a pen pal with, just as we were about to leave, I said, I'm setting this book I'm doing in Wisconsin. And she said, the Wisconsin Amish are really different from the Pennsylvania Amish. And I thought, I'm going to have to do more research. So I did. And anyway, so that's how I ended up writing Amish. And then I wrote another Western historical, not my first one, Jesse and James, and I put it under Jennifer Beckstrand. And then I just decided, if people think, oh, she's just that Amish author, and the Amish readers tend to be very loyal. But if you don't like Amish, you tend to you're not interested in it. And so I thought, well, I'm going to start this new pen name. So Jen Spencer. And so I could put all my other books there. So I've written 2 contemporaries, and I've moved that Western historical over to Jen Spencer. And then my very first Western historical, I'm kind of retooling that, and hopefully it's going to come out in August. We'll hope for that. Keep our fingers crossed.
You will.
Yeah.
Positive.
So,
You will. And then you said something about you had a book coming out this month.
yes. So I have an Amish book coming out this month. It's called His Amish Sweetheart. And I'm so excited about this book. It was supposed to come out June of 2020. And because of COVID and everything, it was just really a weird time. And so my publisher pulled it. And it's the 3rd book in the Petershine Brothers series, which is a series about these 3 brothers. They make peanut butter for a living. They're Amish peanut butter makers. And the setup is that there are the 3 older brothers and then these 2 twin brothers who are 8. And their grandpa and grandma have had to move in with them because their grandpa had a stroke. And so the twins have been sent to the cellar to sleep. So their bedroom is in the cellar, and they are trying to get out of the cellar. And so they figure the best way to do that is to get rid of their brothers. So they try to match their brothers to get rid of them. So the first book is called Andrew.
Good.
That's about the older brother. And then the second book is called Abraham. And then the 3rd book was called Austin, but they had to retool it. They retooled the cover. And so now it's His Amish Sweetheart, but it's this 3rd book in the series. And it's so charming. And the funnest thing about it is these twins, because they get into so much trouble trying to get their brothers married off. And it creates some really fun scenarios. So
I'm just
are
glad. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
I was just going to say, I'm just glad that they were marrying them off, because the minute you said the best way to get out of the cellar is to get rid of them as a sex
That's
suspense,
what I
I'm like,
thought too.
they're going to kill them. Anyway, what were you going to say, Judy? Sorry.
I was going to ask, your Amish books, are they in the present contemporary time?
Oh,
They are?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you were going back into their history or what. So, okay.
no, so I have one Amish series, the Huckleberry Hill series, which is about these 80-year-old grandparents who are trying to make matches for their grandchildren, and they have like 100 grandchildren. And so,
wow.
there are a lot of books to write, but so I did write one Amish historical. It's set in the 50s during the Korean War. And he's an Amish guy, but he feels God calling him to go join the army. And so that's my only Amish historical, but it's about these 2 matchmaking grandparents. So it's really fun.
So it's about him going, so he goes in the 50s to the war, the grandfather.
Yes, and it happens after he gets out of the army, and how he tries to come back and integrate into the Amish society, because they're very anti-war, they're pacifists, and one of their members joining the army would just be
Devastating.
terrible, the worst thing.
All right, so, but that's cool, because you meet them when they're young, and then you see this. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So
I'm gonna
your
ask you
Western,
one more. I
you-
forgot what it was. So go ahead, Judy. I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask
Sorry.
you one more question, and then it like went.
Okay, I'll ask mine.
Okay.
Your Westerns, where do they take place?
So my first Western, so the first Western I had published, I self-published it, and it was with a group of, I think, 4 other authors, and we wanted to do kind of the theme. So the theme was gold diggers.
Mm.
And so I decided to set it in Eureka, Utah. They pronounce it Eureka, but Eureka, Utah, where there was a lot of gold and silver mining.
Mm.
And it's set there, and it's really a cute one. I love it. And then the first Western that I ever wrote, which is hopefully coming out in August. So the Gold Diggers Western was called Jesse and James, and this first Western that I wrote is called Rachel and Riley, and it's set on a ranch in Colorado.
Oh.
And it's funny because I wrote it, let me think, almost 30 years ago I started it.
Whoa.
And I was going through some paper files the other day, and I found all my research, because 30 years ago, you weren't doing a lot of research on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of fun. Like, wow, I worked really hard to
Yeah.
research this.
I get lost in research. I
Oh.
get so interested that I just go down the rabbit hole, never to come out again. So one of the reasons I don't do historicals. So I did remember it's about your pen pal. Are you still in touch with her?
I am not. It's been a long time. I'm trying to think. It's probably been about 5 years since I've,
Really?
yeah. And it was really hard at first because we communicated through letters. And so, like, I remember specifically, I just sent her this list of questions, and it took a couple weeks, and then she sent back her answers. And I remember one of the questions I asked was, what Christmas songs do you sing? Because I'm writing this Christmas book. I want to know what Christmas songs you sing. And her answer was, oh, just the normal ones. And I thought, okay, that does not help me at all. So then I have to write back and ask her the question. But we ended up, her parents own a quilt shop probably still in Pennsylvania. And so if I called the quilt shop and left a message, she would call me back. And then the last time I did that, she called me back on a number I didn't recognize. And she said, well, this is my cell phone. And I said, I thought Amish weren't supposed to have cell phones. And she said, well, I should probably get rid of it, but my husband's a lumberjack and he goes out in the woods by himself, and I like him to have a cell phone. So, I think some of the rules, they bend them a little bit, just, for convenience.
Well, especially nowadays, because like she says, he's out in the wilderness. Before, all you did was sit home and worry about your husband because you had no way. So it kind of seems, I guess I understand that they are against technology, but on the other hand, it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
It could be his life if he can call and get an ambulance if he's cut himself or something. So I see where she's coming from.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So anyway, any other questions? We actually have 1:30. So
remind me of the name of the book that you and all your sisters did together.
So it's called 6 Kisses for Christmas. And I wrote a contemporary story in that book, and all my sisters. So I have 5 sisters. And we were sitting around, we have a Christmas party every year, just me and the sisters. And we were sitting around, and I said, I think it would be so fun to do a book together. I said, let's do it for next Christmas. And I was shocked when they all agreed. I know, it was so fun. So, and varying degrees of experience. I have one sister who has a PhD in English, and she's like my beta reader, and she reads everything that I write before I send it to my editor. And so she's a very experienced writer. I have another sister who is an excellent writer. She writes a blog. And so it was easier for her. And then, down from there, and one sister who'd never written really anything. And it was really, really fun. It was hard and time consuming, but so much fun to see what everybody came up with.
I think that's neat. I do.
That is
I love it.
cool. So thank you so much for joining us. And oh my gosh, I didn't know it was gonna sing to us. That was just gonna do whatever.
It was fun
Sorry about
talking to you, Jennifer. Oh,
You
thank you so much
too.
for joining us.
Yeah, it's been really great. It's so fun to talk to you guys and see you. It's been a
Yes.
while. I saw
Yes,
Judy not
yes.
too long ago, but Mary, I haven't seen you for
I know, forever. I think it was a book signing or something. I don't know.
maybe.
So the rest of the next 2 weeks, please share all your books with us, share the new one coming up, share, and you can put it in your album, just put all the covers there with links and everybody can go and look up your books. They can buy them, they can, so that will be great. So just use it as your complete promo.
I
Whatever you wanna
I
call
will.
it.
In fact, I have my very first Huckleberry Hill book
Mhm.
is on sale this month for $1.99 on Kindle. So
Great.
I'll put that up so you
Yes.
guys can take advantage
Yes.
of that. And the first Andrew, the first book in that Petershine
Mhm.
Brothers series, that's on sale for $3.99 on Kindle this month. So
Great.
anyway, so yes, I will put those up so you
Okay.
can take advantage of that.
Great. Well, I'm going to end this now, so say goodbye, and then
Thank you for
everybody can talk
joining
to you for
us.
a little bit on the group. Hopefully, they talk to you. So see you
Thank you.
guys.